Okay, it is 5:00 p.m. on Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. I will call this special town board meeting of the town of La Pointe to order. Mike Anderson
Here.
in person. Yay. Amy Baxter.
Here.
Susan Brenna.
Here.
Samantha Dobson.
Here.
And Glenn Carlson here. We also have our public works director and our town clerk with us. Is there any public comment? Paul?
Regarding the considering solitary blacktop paving request, I don't know exactly what it is, but I was wondering if the board would be open to possibly paving some other areas that are in dire need, such as parts of Montana Trail and parts of South Shore Road. I don't think they're gonna last another 10 or 20 years until maybe the next batch plant gets here. I know it's gonna cost some money and we're spending it quite a bit right now, but it's something just to look at and be penny wise and not pound foolish. I know there are some good savings you've made in the past few years. You're not cutting the ball diamond 3 or 4 times a week. Thankfully, it's nice and dry. Maybe if you get under the snow this winter, you can start laying off workers in sections. Maybe if we don't get any ice roads, whatever you budget for that, you know, to it. I know it's not a huge amount, but any amount would be a step forward. And nice to see Anderson here. I've heard that he was really in Hawaii for the last 2.5 months. He came back tan, in good shape, good to see you back.
Thank you, Paul. And I will, because it's the paving request is down but I do believe that potentially what you were South Shore, I think maybe some stretch of South Shore might be what you are talking about, and it is in the plan to get that done. And if you have specific things on Mondawmin, I suggest, you know, chatting with Ben or.
Possibly from Penny Lane up to maybe Ebbing Lane.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Any other public comment? John?
I'm hoping that the board will think about writing Town Tiffany a letter and basically telling not to turn this into a national park. I wrote you all a letter. I don't know if Amy got it or not, but if I can have her email, but we already have a national park. It's a tribal national park, but it still is a national park. So he's kind of pushing the envelope there. So
Okay.
hopefully, and his helper didn't know that the meeting was the next day. Committee meeting. So, you know.
Thank you, John, and thank you for writing the letter to his office. Any other public comment? Yes. Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay,
Still here.
go ahead, Charlie.
Well, I did agree with my brother, if to have a town take advantage of having a blacktop plant set up on the island and do, I thought the same thing, Penny Lane, or Mondawmin from Penny Lane up to at least Minnewawa or Ebbing Lane is starting to get pulverized. Really, last time I was up there, I couldn't believe how bad it's gotten this year. I know there's a lot of traffic up there. I don't go up there a lot, but it just seems like that stretch of Mondawmin is really getting a lot of use, let's put it that way. So anything the town can do, I know it's not cheap. I think now is the time to do it instead of waiting maybe the next 10, 15 years.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. Tori?
Oh, well, I have 2 comments. One, as far as John's comments were concerned, I'd like to know what the town board's feeling is about the national park situation and what your vision is for that for the island. My opinion is that I'm also opposed. But I want to know what your vision is and what all of you are thinking, because that's important to me.
Sure.
And the other thing is about, are we what, you're just talking about paving, you're not talking about widening the road?
I
Is
don't,
that another meeting where it's gonna be discussed? Or there was something about widening the roads here?
So you might be talking about Hagen Road.
Hmm?
Hagen Road is Hagen Road is getting widened, but that doesn't have anything to do with us. That's up to the state park.
All right, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, so.
thank you,
That's what
Tori.
I would do, right? And then, yeah.
Yeah, hi, Leslie.
I'm just wondering, can I make comments when we get to the ancillary bidding part, or should they be done now?
If you would like, when we get to the paving, I would take a short comment.
Yeah.
But not back and forth, back and forth.
No,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Okay, any other public comment? And Tori, I will say that on our next regular town board meeting, we will be discussing the national park and the request from Congressman Tiffany's office to write a letter in support of it. So
Who's gonna write a letter of support?
Congressman Tiffany has asked the town to write a letter of support. So we'll be discussing that at our next regular meeting,
And that's
August 14th. Normally it'd be the 13th, but that's election day and this room is occupied with the
Okay.
voting. Okay, moving on. If there's no other public comment. Approved hiring of a CPA consultant. This is to replace the individual firm that has been providing assistance to Lauren to get up to speed on the new accounting software Workhorse. She has not been satisfied with that service.
John Wells and Pierce.
Yes, and I think that the individual really doesn't have experience with Workhorse. And so they're trying to get her to switch to QuickBooks. And that just doesn't work for a municipality.
Angie isn't familiar with Workhorse. Is that what you're saying?
Is not.
It's not, and Lauren wants you to.
Yeah, well, and so the suggestion, and Lauren and I have actually interviewed both companies that Michael Kukta had actually run into down at a conference, a county municipal conference. And Lauren feels that the Kerber Rose individual who has 5 solid full-time years of working with Workhorse in her position, doing much of what Lauren does for Rib Mountain, the village of Rib Mountain. And so I would recommend that we retain and agree to the proposal with Kerber Rose, which is for 10 hours assistance per week for the first month. And that includes 2 to 4 hours a week of FaceTime with Lauren, actually walking through the steps in Workhorse. Second month, it cut down to 5 hours a week with 1 to 3 hours. And then if we still need them, then it'd be 4 hours a week, 1 to 2 hours of FaceTime per week. And they had initially offered a different program that was going to be about $12,000 a month. So this will be considerably less than that. And it will probably be the manager at the $240 an hour level. Is there any question on?
Does Lauren, you obviously talk to Lauren more than us. Does she have an idea of how long it's going to take before she can go on and do this?
She's a very quick study. So I think that it'll be pretty quick. If she's got somebody who is familiar with it and their job is, there was some confusion initially that these folks thought that what they were being hired to do is to actually produce the budget reports, produce the financial reports. And she and I concluded that that was not going to be as effective in training her as if they sort of are over her shoulder while she's actually
Advising her?
Yeah, and telling her what key to push, as opposed to them just doing it and turning it over to her at the end of the month, and she still has no idea how to actually generate it. So now the idea with this being on an hourly basis, we're not expecting them to produce the monthly statements. And so it's a much less costly.
Yeah.
And it sounds like here too, it's guaranteed for 6 months and then they reevaluate after. So I mean, there's kind of a timeline.
Yeah. And also we can reevaluate after 3 months.
Do you want a second?
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we hire Kerber Rose Accounting Services for the help Lauren.
Second.
So for the proposal that they submitted, the one-page proposal.
Yep.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve insurance for Harbor Commission refrigerated vehicle. As you all know from our last meeting, we gave approval for the Harbor Commission to purchase a refrigerated vehicle that will be used by numerous island businesses. By the way, my understanding is that Evan Jr. is actually down in Chicago picking it up as we speak. We also will need to get insurance for that, and we have a quote from Progressive folks, who, as you'll recall, is the firm that covers all the freight vehicles for the ferry line. Their bid for a year's coverage is $5,656.
Where do you get a year? Oh, because in the memo, doesn't say a year.
Oh, that's what
It
they,
just says we
yeah,
will do full coverage for
Yeah,
that amount.
yeah,
Doesn't say a year.
okay, I'll clarify that.
Yeah, because that would be,
Yeah, no, it's for a year. But I will clarify that.
so would that be, in asking, is that a year from now or a year from we do it?
Well, a year from when they bind the coverage, and I believe they're binding the coverage today. So it'd be a year from today.
All right.
Is there a motion to approve this payment?
I'll make a motion to approve the insurance payment of $5,656 a year for the refrigerated truck.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Next, we had an open records request, and it happened to be of something that is covered by attorney-client privilege, even though the substance of what was written, I don't think is, particularly confidential. I didn't feel like I had the authority as town chair to waive attorney-client privilege on my own, but I recommend that we waive attorney-client privilege so that we can satisfy this open records request. And I believe you all got a copy of the email that is in question. So is there a motion to waive the attorney-client privilege on the open records request for the feedback from our attorney regarding the law enforcement survey?
I'll make a motion to approve the request, but under discussion.
You're moving to waive the attorney-client privilege?
Yeah.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, discussion?
On the third paragraph, the last paragraph, and he said, where a Wisconsin municipality or town has considered dissolving the police department. We never said that. We never said that we're gonna
No,
dissolve
we
the police
didn't.
department.
We didn't say
So
that.
I mean, I don't want the
Yeah.
person who's getting the information to run around and say,
No.
we're dissolving the police department.
No.
Because we never said that.
No, true.
I don't know why he said that, but we
Okay,
didn't say it.
no. No, and you can, that sentence is a little, obviously, he says, collective bargaining agreement, you need to consider, well, we don't have a collective bargaining agreement either. So, okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries. John, you can probably get this tomorrow or.
I'll give it to you after this meeting.
Okay, next item, approve the job announcement from Public Administration Associates for the town administrator position. You all should have gotten a copy of that. The only comment that I have is that we are not part of the Apostle Island National Lakeshore.
If you read that sentence, well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, So-
He says, we're a part of the apostles,
no, he
but we're
says,
not a part of the Apostle Island National Lake
yeah,
Shore.
he says we're part of the Apostle Island National Lakeshore, and I would just propose saying bordering the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore.
I would say that out of the 22 Apostle Islands, we're the largest and the only one not to be in the national parks, you know, that's what I would say. But,
Okay.
and also our official website has a difference in population than what we have. So either we should be.
Oh, 425,
Our official website says 430 and
okay,
then 2,500.
okay,
And on here it
Oh.
says 425, which was only 5 people.
yeah.
And then
2,500,
3,000. But I'm just saying
we should try to be
compatible.
consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments?
I think it should say adjacent to.
Instead of
Yeah,
bordering,
something like that.
Adjacent
separated.
to? Okay.
Yeah.
Adjacent to. Okay. Any other?
And is the ferry at 20 minutes? I thought it was.
22, I think is the official length.
In our official website, it says 25, but so between 20 and 25.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, it depends where the wind is
Yeah,
coming
exactly.
from.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was wondering about, is I thought posting the grant writing was something that, isn't the Harbor Commission hiring someone to grant write?
I don't believe,
Why did I think I did? Okay,
don't think so.
that was my only question.
Okay. Any other questions? So the plan is that we approve this. I'll let Kevin know. The next step is he's going to write a script for me to deliver to somebody's iPhone.
Mhm.
Maybe Alex or Georgine or somebody will sit out front and do that recording, and then they will start marketing the position. So,
Did anybody ever talk to Jack Nelson?
no,
I talked to Kirsten.
okay,
I haven't talked to Jack.
yeah, I think that they have enough
Oh,
footage.
they have, okay,
Yeah, they've got, the Chamber of Commerce was
okay.
good enough to open up their,
Jack did? Oh, okay, so
should probably follow up with him.
let them
Let
know
'em
if
know.
they have enough, okay.
Yeah. Okay, is there a motion to approve the job announcement drafted by PAA with the changes? And I'll get those to Kevin.
I'll make a motion to approve the position announcement with changes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, consider ancillary blacktop paving requests. The big one that we had received was to do, and it was informal, inquiry, to do Old Fort Road, and Capser Road all the way to the dead end of Capser. And the individual who was interested in that, was, gracious enough to send out a poll to all the neighbors that he had emails for. And reported back to me that he was a little surprised, but at least 75% of the neighbors were opposed to paving. And that he said has led him to withdraw his request for paving of that. And I think that, I can't speak for Ben, but I think the Public Works Department might be, given the engineering challenges that that road has, I think it would have been quite a project and probably required a complete shutdown of that road for some period of time, which would not be popular. So, and Ben, you had mentioned a couple of other projects. Anything that you care to bring up at this point?
Is there comment?
Leslie?
Sure, yeah.
I'd just like to say that that road has been gravel forever. It's fine. It slows people down. It discourages them from going up and down and up and down. But that's also, these gravel roads are part of the charm of the island. And I think at some point you need to say, we're not gonna develop certain places and do certain things that maybe might be okay for the rest of the world, but it doesn't need to be for the island. I mean, there's just, I just think we need to look at how much we want to develop this place and what we see in the future. And that road is, I mean, I had emotional attachment to it, but whatever that means. But I think they're just, those gravel roads are part of the island, and I don't think we need to just put up a sign, blacktop it. So I hope in the future, yes, it might have been gracious on his part to notify people, but I think that was probably something that should have been required of him to do. Wasn't really gracious, it was something he should have done, was to notify people that he was thinking of proposing this. I just want to know that. But I would just ask them in the future if there are any times that people are considering blacktopping something, that they ask the town.
Sorry, any other comment? Leslie?
Yeah, in seeing some of the comments, we saw comments from seasonal residents like myself, but I didn't see, permanent residents responding like Iceberg and the Max to know what their experiences are in the winter with the dirt road. Maybe that should have been an issue, but, and then the other thing is parking, because it's vastly increased the people who are using that public access now. And I don't think we want to encourage parking on the road, but we also don't want a parking lot down there, since it's private land on both sides. So it's signage might be a.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ben?
I would like to propose by the next meeting, or at least by the last meeting in August, is considering paving one of what I consider one of the worst stretches of South Shore at the Von Dam intersection heading towards Four Corners. We actually have a price on that, which would be in the area of $12,000, or maybe a 250 to 300 foot stretch in that intersection where rocks are pushing up. It's quite bumpy. We get a lot of complaints. Going 35 miles an hour with a trailer, equipment bounces around, including town equipment. So that area, culvert patches, which would be maybe 1,600 a piece, that are also in that same stretch of South Shore, which have been done, but with the ditch down towards Four Corners, and then replace those culverts and repave over them. And then finally at Four Corners itself, there's a very large former patch, which is cracked up all around it and forming a puddle. I think we could improve that corner.
Do you have a price for that one at Four Corners?
That patch, I don't have
Okay,
a firm price, but
yep,
between all of that, and then over here on Whitefish Street, replacing the culvert that heaves every winter by it's the Floyd fence.
Mhm.
There's a bump every year, but redoing that is a consideration.
Mhm.
And then finally, when it becomes Sunny Slope past O'Brien Court, there's another dip there that was repaired years ago, but that's always been an issue. And one pass of the paver in there would be nice. So the town crew could prep these areas. This would take place sometime late September after Hagen Road project is done, and they bought the private driveways. But all of this is probably going to be in the area of $20,000 to $25,000 easily. And we do have leftover ice road and landslide money that could be used for this purpose. But other major repairs or other sections that have been suggested tonight require digging up the base. Eventually, we don't have material to do that unless the town would want to, or the board would consider using some of that cell tower money, and we go for it and actually dig up the base considerably on the stretch of Von Dam that's been mentioned tonight. There's rocks, roots, clay. It's only going to get worse and nothing will get cheaper, as has been said. So I would consider doing that, and then maybe some additional culvert replacements and patches as well.
Didn't the ferry line, before we bought the ferry line, weren't they considering doing the freight office area?
The parking lot.
We don't, I mean, there's no culvert there.
The Harbor Commission called.
Is that okay?
It will, the repair in front of the museum of Colonel Woods is on the list as the town.
Is it freight office, do you know? Is it freight office?
Freight office is in the Harbor Commission's hands.
Well, he's,
So ultimately, it's the town board that has, because
We-
it's
we
the
have
town's
plans.
property.
Vote on them.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So,
will be vote for that, but it won't be under.
You're saying you're staying out of it?
Won't be under town road. I've got my opinion about it, but, that will not be a town road.
what would your opinion be on that?
To make it easier to plow, to improve the drainage. Some trees are nice, but some trees can be replanted. And let's take advantage of having asphalt plant here while it's here. However, I also in favor of, let's fix what we have before doing new stuff. There's plenty of infrastructure that needs improvement.
Okay.
But if we don't have the material and we don't have the money and we don't have the borrowing capacity, then it's simply not possible. I'd love to see Mondamin redone, but to be done correctly, it has to be dug up, polarized. To do a section of it would certainly be nice. But we don't have the funds, and these other patch areas are really all I can do within the road budget as it stands for the rest of this year.
do you think that, like, let's just say Mondamin, for instance, like if the king came down from the sky and tapped and said, you have all the money you need to fix that road, can it be done this fall? Do you think? I mean, while the plant is here?
That would probably depend on the weather and the barging subcontractor. Getting the right amount of material for you.
But it would require tearing up the entire
I think there's
road.
great stretches of base that have rocks, roots, stumps, clay. I wasn't working at Biffle when it was done, actually.
Well,
I've heard plenty of stories, but there was, I guess there were some hasty culvert installations, and it just, that's how it happened. It's amazing that it lasted as long as it did. In some areas, they're not that bad. But, yes, from Penny Lane up around to, it would be really nice to redo completely. But might as well replace every culvert as well. So we lay a foot of base and really build it for the next 20 years. Can't do that with what's in my budget this year.
well, how does the board feel about the projects that Ben has outlined that he thinks could total 25,000 and be paid for out of the money that hasn't been spent for winter transportation and ice road maintenance?
I agree with Ben. But I think the time frame. I don't know who the head of the paving is these days, but you gotta go to him and he's gotta schedule it. And if he says he can't get it done this fall, they're not gonna leave the plant over here. So I mean, it's well, the weather's gonna matter.
Those other areas are fine. That's after Hagen is done, and then move on to all the private driveways.
Did they already commit to those spots?
We talked about it today, yeah. If the money is approved.
Well, I would say, yeah.
Okay, Sam?
Support them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, why don't we have a motion to do that? To give Ben the go-ahead so that. he-
I'll make a motion that we give Ben the go-ahead to spend $20,000 to $25,000 to fix all the patches and culverts and whatnots that he listed.
I'll second.
And seconded, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other project, Ben, that we should discuss tonight? In terms of ancillary blacktop paving? I think we've covered pretty much. Okay, well, you know.
It'd be nice to know how much it would cost to do Monday. It would just from Penny Lane, the intersection of Penny Lane up to Minnewawa or up to Ebby's Trail, you know.
I can tell you that the quote that was received to do from Four Corners down to the end of Capser, I believe was around 320,000.
Forget it.
That's without all the gravel that we have to buy for a foot of lift.
So, okay, thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed?